Man alive, we were this close to getting King Corbin versus Roman Reigns, but Saudi Arabia robbed us. Damn you, Saudi Arabia, damn you all to hell. Just kidding. Now, while whatever was happening in Saudi Arabia was happening, and what a horrible couple of days it must have been for the superstars and their families back home, we got the best episode of SmackDown for a very long time. And I don't know what to make of that, because on one hand, we had a real-life human tragedy, potentially. On the other hand, we got a good episode of SmackDown. WTF! But of course, we kicked off these WTF moments for Friday Night SmackDown with the return of Tom Phillips, who should never, ever, ever have been shafted to one side like he was during the draft, because in terms of play-by-play announcers employed by WWE today, Tom Phillips is second, in my opinion, behind Big Mauro Ranallo, who returned with a vengeance. But Tom said we've been feeling the fallout from the Crown Jewel event yesterday, and by gum, Tommy boy, I'm having a stroke. Slap my arse, call me Gertrude, become my stepdaddy, Tom Phillips, you can say that again. Now, I think that by the time SmackDown went on the air on Friday night, just 12 WWE superstars had made their way out of the country, with the rest of the roster kept in there for another 24 hours or something. Tom then claimed it was a mechanical issue with the plane for no superstars being at last week's SmackDown. There's a problem with the left phalange. But obviously a mountain of other information has come out since Tom said there, which might indicate that Tom was telling a corporate porky pie. I just don't know who to believe. There's so much conflicting stuff out there. All I know is, Dwayne, I know you watch these WTF moments. I cannot wait for you to make the film adaptation of this weekend in Crown Jewel. And you can cast me as Vince McMahon. I'm waiting. Here's my audition, Dwayne. You don't want to pay me the money? Well, you can forget about your pay-per-view and kiss my ass, King whatever your name is. Allegedly. Two Cultaholic related signs at Friday Night SmackDown. Thanks goes to Nick Baker and Chris Simmons for their efforts right there. Next time you go to a show, do what they did. Thanks, lads. And then they showed the entire Cain Velasquez versus Brock Lesnar match from Crown Jewel of 2019. And to be honest with you, I did a massive rant about that match in the Crown Jewel 2019 WTF Moments video. So if you want to watch that, good on you. But in terms of them showing the full match on Friday Night SmackDown, first of all, I was thinking, why the hell would you want to get more eyes on that bollocks? And second of all, killing time much? And then we had Paul Heyman describing that win for his client as the most spiritually orgasmic of Brock's career. And if that's the case, I think we saw Brock's sex face then. Lucky Sable. So we learned that Brock Lesnar did not like the fact that Ronald Mysterio twatted him upside the head many, many times with a steel chair in Saudi Arabia. And because of this, Big Brock and his biological dad called Paul went to see Vince McMahon. Brock and his biological daddy Paul said to Vince McMahon, "Hello Vince, we don't like the fact that Ronald Mysterio did that to us with a steel chair, so we want to smash Ronald Mysterio right in the tits with our fist." Brock apparently said to Vince, "Vince, I want to go to Raw to smash Ronald Mysterio's face in," but Vince said, "I can't do that. SmackDown superstars are contractually obliged to just appear on Fox, whereas Raw superstars are contractually obliged to appear on USA Network." It's a hard thing to do that for a long time. And I know what you're saying right now. Rey Mysterio is actually a Raw superstar. I know, I didn't know either. But in this moment, Vince McMahon, I guess us fans just have to forget that USA contractually owned superstar Rey Mysterio has appeared on every single Friday Night SmackDown since SmackDown moved to Fox. And then we got to Brock Lesnar quitting Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. This brand new era, yes I know I hate that term too, has barely got going. The draft is a brand new thing. Exclusive rosters, brand new thing. But already, people are jumping ship willy-nilly. But most importantly, the man, also the news said, Fox got such a stiffy over, they felt compelled to pay WWE $1.5 billion to see Brock Lesnar do the wrestling in a SmackDown ring on Fox. He's gone. USA's now. But apparently now we live in a WWE universe where you can just go, oh, I don't like my home, I'm just going to go to the other side because reasons and stuff. Or maybe, of course, that's just for Brock Lesnar, because when it comes to Brock Lesnar, we all know Vince McMahon likes to bend over and shout at him, "Come at me, Johnny Brock, come at me!" But now it's time for this.
Wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank.
Hello and welcome back to Wankety Wank, the section of WTF Moments where you, as sexual wank fazon, tell me something I have missed and I give you the credit because, hey, thank you goes to Narudio. I hope I said that correctly, for pointing out some translation things I didn't understand, because all I've got is a GCSE in French, a B grade at that. Very good.
What she say? Say, shut up, Renee. What she say? Say, shut up, Renee.
First of all, Renee Young in a kind of heel commentator's role where she's allowed to say more than 3 words at one time. I liked it. But she was talking about Brock Lesnar quitting Friday Night SmackDown and she said, "You just can't quit. I don't care who you are." But hey, I'm here to say to you, Renee, Brock Lesnar, as far as I can see, in this second run, hasn't had a massive injury. Therefore, Vince McMahon won't have added months and or years onto his current contract. So I reckon he probably could. And it's Brock, and Vince likes to take it up the winner of Halloween is you. And next up we have Aiden English putting his massive thespian ballet shoe right in it when he claimed that Bayley never smiles. Now, even though we should never ever doubt anything Aiden English says ever again, because one night in Milwaukee it got proved as happening, even though Aiden himself is covering for Lana because he might be a snake or he might not be. I can't work it out. What's that, Aiden? It's a smile. Frederick Von Dickens? Is that what that's referring to? I don't know. But the real WTF moment here has to be that sign not saying Bayley loves Strongbow Dark Fruits, because when it comes to ciders, Strongbow Dark Fruits is the only cider that matters. Look at me fridge, ma'am. A second smile, Aiden.
What she say? Say, shut up, Renee.
Direct quote from Renee Young right here when she said that's a weird air in the energy here tonight in Buffalo. It's like the chicken and the egg, but with different things. So tell me now, boys and girls, do you remember EC3? He's a man who used to do the wrestling. He's a man who has everything WWE looks for in a proper main event wrestler. But for some reason, that same company doesn't let him do the wrestles. Well, back when I was a boy, he used to have a finisher called the 1%er. A move that is really similar to Bayley's brand new finisher. The only difference being, of course, Bayley sticks her opponent's arm between her legs. Steady on now. Whereas Ethan does not. So now we find ourselves in a world where Ethan Carter III has quite literally been stripped of everything that makes him him by WWE, apart from his name and his boots and his knee pads and his tights and those wrist things he wears, but everything else, it's gone. How much deeper can this man be buried? He's that far down, he's nearly a lizard person. They don't exist. And now it's time for a bit of Susan Boyle. When I sing, wild horses couldn't drag me away. But they could drag that wild horse there away from NXT. Yes, the first shock of the night in terms of NXT superstars. I think me mind's gone blank. So Shayna Baszler travel or gallop all the way from Florida to Buffalo, New York. But this has also got to be a WTF moment because Rey Mysterio, a Raw superstar, Raw appears on the USA Network, is exclusive to the USA Network. NXT, also on USA. Why is she on there? But then we have Aiden English calling Shayna Baszler the Queen of Hearts. And as we all know in WWE, the Queen of Hearts is Natalya, because that's the only thing she hasn't nicked from either Bret Hart or Cats. But this was the gravest mistake ever made on commentary, because when we came back from commercial break, Aiden English had been replaced by Pat McAfee. And I'm thinking, just for that, surely not WWE. Commentators have said way worse, way more many times than Aiden English just making that one mistake there. That can't be real, can it? And by the way, while we're here, get Pat on some sort of commentary duty full time, because he was fantastic. He is good at saying the things.
What she say? Say.
And as we came back from that same commercial break, Renee Young somehow morphed into Kenny from South Park. All we heard was But I doubt that what Renee was saying there was anything like the things Kenny says in the South Park intros. If you don't know what Kenny says in the South Park intros, please find that Reddit thread, because it'll open your eyes. Now, I don't know if this was just Sami Zayn, healing it up, being disrespectful, calling somebody the wrong name on purpose, but he called Shayna Baszler Shayna Baszler, and I don't know what else to say apart from fish. That's a bit of bass. The sign of the night is you. Apart from the Cultaholic ones, obviously. So to Miz TV we go, and according to The Miz, one thing people are always saying is that they want to see The Miz versus Tommaso Ciampa on the mics. Is that a thing? I didn't know that was a thing. And I don't know about you at home, but I reckon, Michael, you can shove that mic battle right up your arsehole. I don't want to see that. I want to see Tommaso Ciampa kick those pearly whites of yours down your throat. Direct quote from The Miz now, when he said, if I was acting for 15 years, I deserve a frickin' Oscar. Now, obviously, not being too much into the films, I'd obviously heard of an Oscar, but I hadn't heard of an Oxter. So naturally, I went to look what Oxter meant on Urban Dictionary, and this is what I found. An Oxter is a Scottish slang for your armpits / underarms. Apparently, critters like to nest in your oxters. And here's a sentence for you. Yo, your oxters smell like whey pole, man. Use some goddamn deodorant. That's what The Miz wanted. And then we have a direct quote from Pat McAfee, who says, everyone is paying attention to NXT. Let's not kid ourselves. Delusion running wild in WWE, as it appears that nobody is paying attention to those all-important ratings. Even though it pains me to say that, because NXT is really good, isn't it?
What she say? Say, shut up, Renee.
And next up we have Renee saying all the credit in the world to The Miz. He thought he was coming out here just for a Miz TV interview segment, but instead he's facing the greatest sports entertainer in the world, called Tommaso Ciampa. But Renee, he was in his gear, he was ready. Most of the time on Miz TV, The Miz is wearing a lovely suit. Now, this isn't just a problem for The Miz in WWE, it's a problem for every single superstar who appears regularly in talking segments. Sometimes they're in their gear, sometimes they're in their street clothes. Just wear your gear all of the time, then you don't telegraph when you're going to have a match. It's simple, isn't it? Look at Pat there, man. Get him on full time. NXT, WWE, it doesn't matter, but just imagine the trio of Mauro Ranallo, Nigel McGuinness, and Pat McAfee. So now we have the rather sobering moment where we realise that Triple H, a professional wrestler, has not brought his gear to a professional wrestling show, even though even I know this. I'm not in the business. You take your gear to every show you go to, even if you're not booked, because you never know when your opportunity might come up. And that young whippersnapper there, that could have been his big break. And then WWE became the biggest minge-teasing bastards the world has ever seen, outside of Mel B from Bo Selector. Triple H says that he's not looking for a fight with Daniel Bryan, while Shawn Michaels takes off his jacket in a really menacing manner in the back of the shot. Shawn Michaels then goes, "Oof, it's freezing," then puts his jacket back on as our hopes and dreams of the quintessential teacher versus student match were crushed. That's the wrong Knox, lads. Tegan is not related to Mike. Now, I know in this video series I like to say what you say, shut up Renee, but I would like to know what she really had to think and say about receiving that boot there, right in the face. She got a bloody nose for that. She didn't sign up for that WWE. Shock and horror. This can't be real, can it? It is real. It's WWE getting a case of the first time evers when they shouldn't be getting a case of the first time evers. When does that ever happen? Tom Phillips claims that for the first time ever, the NXT Championship will be defended on the SmackDown brand. So let's just forget about that time Kevin Owens defended the NXT Championship on the SmackDown brand against Zack Ryder, June the 2nd, 2015. I know where, man, Tom, you dig. Zack Ryder doesn't get a lot, but now he has something to his name, and you take it away like that. You should be ashamed. Well, apparently not. Or maybe the money was coming begrudgingly, if you believe the news. All 7 different directions of the same news. And now we have the commentary team claiming that Adam Cole's defense of the NXT Championship against Daniel Bryan on SmackDown is the biggest test of his career. And I don't know about you, but I reckon a singles match against Daniel Bryan on SmackDown with my NXT Championship on the line is way less of a mountain to climb than coming back from death. Adam Cole was actually the baby Jesus. You see Triple H there? Aye, exactly. And then we got a fantastic match between Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan. No real WTF moments there, apart from when Adam Cole died for a second time in his life. But then we have to give all the credit in the world to Tommaso Ciampa. So many times in WWE we see big events like this week's SmackDown happen, but recent history and years and years and years of storyline just completely disregarded. Yes, Ciampa is a member of Team NXT. Go on the team. Go Team NXT. But he has not forgotten that his main obsession is with Goldie. So look at him there. Not only fixated on the thing he really wants in the bigger picture, but also bucking the trend and not disregarding the history that happened, but we're supposed to forget in big moments like this. And so that was it for the best episode of SmackDown in a very long time. But my override emotion I hope we get Corbin versus Reigns next week. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. And if you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Hit subscribe and join us.